It's Bobby, and I'm glad to be back. Had a lot of mouth surgery over the last month, kind of been busy with family traveling, but we're back making a video, and I'm excited to share something a bit different than what I've shared on the channel before. We've often talked about Bitcoin and entrepreneurship, but we haven't talked too much about leadership and people management. And today I want to talk about something that's a super important topic for people who are CEOs, founders, or operational leaders. And it's a topic about firing people. When do you do it? It's a hard thing to do. And one of my buddies on Twitter, Jacob Becker, created this post and shared his thoughts. And I gave him a reply and he really liked what I shared. So I thought I would break down a video and share these thoughts with everyone. So while firing is really hard and it is a challenging thing and it feels painful, it actually doesn't have to be. There's a way to approach it in a structure which you can give your team, which actually leaves them feeling empowered and encouraged so that it doesn't have to be this scary, unhealthy thing. And let's talk about exactly what this means. So there's 3 pillars that you can measure and hold your team accountable to. So from the get-go, there is clear accountability. 1, there's attitude. 2, there's effort. And 3, there is performance. Now, when it comes to these 3 pillars, if someone has a great attitude, good. If someone has a lot of effort, good. If the performance lacks, you can often train this, right? But if someone lacks good attitude, that's hard to train. If someone lacks the effort and they don't show more effort, it's hard to train someone to do that. And the performance typically follows those 2. So if someone is always resistant in the attitude and effort side, it's highly unlikely the performance will follow. But sometimes there are people who do have bad attitudes or, don't give a lot of effort, but they do put up good performance. And then those things in another scenario would be what deteriorates or discourages other team members. So there's this delicate balance you set for everyone where, if you're missing one of those things, we can try to train to it. But a lot of times folks who have a bad attitude or bad effort, they are harder to train than the performance. I love when people come in and they have a great attitude and they have great effort because the performance will come over time because they're dedicated and passionate. But a lot of times training for attitude and effort are some of the more challenging things. Even when someone has good performance, if they're dragging down everyone with a bad attitude, if their effort's low and they're setting this bad tone on the team that, look, so-and-so, they can put up big numbers, but then they can just lackluster and halfway do everything. It kind of sets a standard for the team and tells the team, hey, my manager, my leader, the owner is okay with this person slacking in this area. I think I'm going to let off the gas a little bit. I'm going to be a little more careless. And this just snowballs and impacts the team. And it creates long-term problems for the organization. So attitude, effort, and performance are the big 3. Performance is the ideal situation where someone struggles because you can train to that. Training attitude and effort is hard because, let's be honest, we're not parents in the workplace, we are leaders, and it's challenging to retrain someone who's 16, 18, 20, 30, 40 years into life to improve upon those things. Now, this does not mean that you will not be able to get them to improve in the short term. I've known so many people who always have had bad attitude and effort, and you can kind of coach them through it, and then they have this periodic 2 or 3 month great window, and then they fall back into habits. It's very common, but this is a simple framework you can use to apply to tell your team, these are the things which we measure on. We're going to hold you accountable to this because we know if everyone does this well, it's going to make the job delightful. Now, here's another important thing. By training to that, you make a good work environment. So think about it this way. It's often hard to fire one person and it becomes a tough situation. It's just stressful for people generally. Now, here's the thing. When you work with a team, and in my past, I've worked with teams from the size of 7 to 10, 15 to 20, up to 40 people in a team. When you have one bad apple and they're super challenging to fire, what happens? Well, the other 15 to 39 people, whatever size may be, their work experience is being deteriorated. They're being impacted by this bad apple. So while it's hard to fire one person and you're worried about the relationship with that one person or being the bad guy, you have to think about some of the unspoken things that often happen. Most employees aren't just going to come out and start, tattletaling or reporting or telling on or talking down on someone. They may, through a constructive feedback process, share it with you, but often these things tend to go unsaid. So for you as a leader, you have to have emotional intelligence, right? We have to have forethought. We have to have discernment to understand who is this person that is causing the problem and what impact do I think they're having on the rest of the team who is doing a great job, who knows their role, who is doing what's required of them, who shows up every day with a great attitude, they're putting forth the effort, and they're working hard for that performance to like bring value to the organization. That one person can drag down so many people and you won't know it. Because let's be honest, most people are not bold and confrontational, nor do they, come out and say everything. As a leader, it takes a lot of deeper questioning. It takes a lot of asking. And this doesn't mean, just firing people on a whim because they miss one of 3 metrics, right? It really does mean multiple things. So let's unpack this. So a moment ago, we talked about most people are not confrontational. They don't just bring stuff up. It takes asking your team questions, having one-on-ones, whether it be weekly, monthly, quarterly, having reviews, having benchmarks you want to set, asking people how their life is doing just in passing. Business, while we're not a family, we are a group of people who work together, and it pays to know each other. Check in. How are you doing? How's the family? You seem a little off today. Is everything okay? How can I help you? Like just little things like this, it can add up, builds trust with folks, and it creates this environment where people can communicate. So by no means does it just mean go firing people, but it does mean that having a relationship is important. It creates a level of transparency and relationship, and upon having that, it makes this framework of attitude, effort, and performance very clear for the organization. The team knows you are on their side. You advocate for them, but you're also not a pushover. You have standards, and we expect the team to meet these standards, and they know the guidelines and the rails in which to work within. It's really that simple. At the end of the day, if you're a leader, if you're a CEO, if you're a founder, if you're an operator, if you're brand new to leadership, this is one of the best things you could do for your team. P.S. One last tip. If you are a new leader, you're taking over a company, new CEO, first-time manager, one of the best things you could do is just sit down with every employee and just say, what is the thing that your last manager did that you love? What was great about them? What was some of their best traits? Write that down. Know that for each person. Everyone has their own level of nuance. Also ask, what were the things they did that bothered you, that rubbed you, that you felt like didn't serve the organization, that didn't serve you? How could you see me being better than them now that I'm in this seat in respect to your needs? Giving people a voice, right? These are important things. If you're a founder, leader, CEO, you need to do this. It's important because it's going to create transparency. It's going to create a relationship. It's going to just show people that you do care, and you can build how you approach day to day in the business to this. It's great. It's a powerful way to just remove the stress and just these barriers and hurdles that we put in front of ourselves. It's challenging, but I know you can do it. So that's it. I hope that's helpful. I've used this across the last 13 to 15 years of working with people, and it's been great. Doesn't mean I haven't made mistakes. Doesn't mean I haven't dropped the ball and learned some hard scenarios. I have. Maybe we'll talk about some of that in another video, but for now, this is, I know going to be super helpful for you guys. So I hope you can apply it. If you have any stories like this or any additional tips, please share below, because this is a video that I think is going to attract growth-minded people. And for those people to have other folks online they can connect with, follow, and just grow with, that's going to be super helpful for everyone. So thanks for watching. If you made it this far, share this with someone. I know it's going to help because it's tremendously helped me. And these are not things I've learned the hard way. I've had people kind of tell me this, and I've just modeled after it, and it's saved me so much pain and trouble. So thank you guys. I'll see you next time.